Hi everyone, welcome back to Drinks at Dana's. I'm here with Chris and Jess, of course, from the L Word Online, and I'm Ash Silver, and today we're going to be talking about episode 308, the penultimate episode of the L Word Generation Q Season 3, Quality Family Time, another Q title. And this is also the fourth and final episode that was directed by M. Weinstein, who we are actually going to have on the podcast as a little treat. So look out for that very soon after this episode goes out. And I think we're just going to get into today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe, follow us on Apple and Spotify, leave us a review, and follow us on social media as well. They're all in the show notes, everybody's handles. So, episode 308.
Hello.
Thoughts?
Finally one title that actually kind of sort of makes sense.
Yeah.
Quality Family Time.
Lockdown and Quality Family Time are the winners.
Yeah, I find it weird that we got like a holiday episode finally last time, and now we're like suddenly another holiday episode. Woohoo!
Well, not on the actual days.
They had to very heavy-handedly remind us that it was Thanksgiving at the beginning of the episode.
Yeah, with that pumpkin spice latte.
Here's your seasonal pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah.
Yeah. There was a lot of decorations and stuff too.
Was there any pumpkin carvings in the background?
There was like little pumpkins on the side of Dana's. I know this is early on in the episode, but when I was on set, this is one of
there we go. Take a drink.
This was the one of the episodes they were filming while I was there, and Dana's was all in the front, set up like that, like all the, little table stuff and candles and pumpkins and things. So
did it smell like pumpkin spice?
No.
They always have those weird candles burning.
It just smelled like LA, like heat and traffic.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know that LA is big on the Yankee Candle Company, but yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people have like passionate hate. I listened to this other podcast about, embarrassingly, sister wives, and I don't know why. And I pay for it too. It's on Patreon. I'm insane.
I'm like, what is that? I want to listen to that.
It's good. I don't even like usually like reality TV, but this one show, but it's called Shit Talk Sister Wives. But they have these hosts that they're like my age, but they're always like, these people have Glade plugins and candles and things, and I'm like, that's me. I love those candles, but.
I love Carrie and Finley. I love their relationship. I just love
they
each
are
of
pretty
them.
cute.
Yeah, one of my favorite bits of the episode, and I said this in my video too. I think Jack Tobani is by far like the best actress out of the Gen Q people.
Funnily enough, I had wrote that on my notes last week for when I wasn't here, and then when I heard that, when I heard you say it, Ash, I was like, yes, she said it.
Yeah, like having her with Rosie as like a scene, like it just elevates the two of them, and being able to go like back and forth. And I'm gonna put another brag moment in here. Rosie followed me on Twitter this week, so that kind of made my week. So
you need to put like a little cha-ching sound in. Cha-ching!
Yeah, she must have heard the podcast. I'm joking. But yeah. Finley and Carrie, A+, 10 out of 10. Would like to see lots more.
Did we know prior to this episode that Carrie is demisexual?
No, we did not.
No.
Okay.
Actually, I wrote like also not the show ticking off the demisexual box.
Right.
Tick.
I like
another
that.
One we should have an L word bingo, and that's one of them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I liked it, and it's also like one of my kind of, I don't know if it's really a pet peeve, but it's like so much of the show is about relationships, but specifically like
Mhm.
how quickly can we have sex? Then how quickly can I cheat on you and have sex with someone else? So
Yeah.
it's nice to see someone who's like, oh, we're not having sex and here's why.
Yeah, especially because I think most lesbians are demisexual.
Well, the weird part was like Finley being like, "Oh, but aren't you guys there already? Like you've reached that
Mm.
point." And I'm like, "Didn't they just get together like a second ago?
They've been on
Hasn't
one day.
one date? And, like, is that a long time for Finley?"
On the L word.
They've been hanging out as friends for like a few months, and that was the whole thing. Finley like pushed her
Yeah.
into the relationship because she said she already had feelings for her.
Yeah, but that's still not a long time to be together to have sex.
But
But you know,
but it's
yeah,
about
you know
having
the person.
feelings before having
Mhm.
sex. That's all. It's not a length of time. It's just
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no, but
agree
that's
with
what I
Jess.
was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what like Finley made it sound like they'd been together for ages, and so like, oh, isn't it about time you have sex?
But I feel like with lesbians, it's like, I mean, this is my experience anyway. Then I do feel a lot like that demisexual too, because you have to, like, any girl that I've dated, probably except one or two, I've had like a friendship. Well, not really a friend. I like, obviously I'd like them, and then you do, especially when I was younger and wasn't like as out, that you'd have that really like intense friendship, and then it was like, oh, okay, you like me too. And then maybe we would only be like seeing each other for like a week and sleep together, but that's because we'd had like 2 months of like becoming really close. And okay, we weren't dating each other then, but you know that's a
That
blurry
counts in
cross
lesbian
line
land.
in lesbians.
That's unofficial. That's pre-dating
Yeah.
term.
I wrote down like being a good friend. I'm like, oh, I like this friendship, and then it sort of deteriorated by the end of the episode. I felt like,
I was like, I hope they're not trying to like push them back together again because I
A
like them as
lot of people
friends.
have said that. A lot of people have said
Yeah,
that.
because they kind of like like you can see the friendship, but then there's this element of flirtiness and touching, and I'm like, oh,
Mm.
don't no, because you ruined the Sophie and Finley relationship that way too.
oh, I did not even notice that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I have
because they'd
a lot of
already slept
people
together
say
in
that.
was it season one?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Season one, yeah.
So I'm like, oh, don't. Is it one of those things where they don't know who to hook them up with, so they're just like, well, let's just put them back with them. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I do question that because I'm pretty, I mean, I don't know these things for facts, but I'm pretty sure that Tess and Shane, like this drinking thing will be to split them. And then I know for a fact that uh, Finley and Sophie are not together by the end of the season. So maybe they put Tess and Finley together and to like tie it into Tess's drinking, because I mean, I do kind of like this relapse of someone who's like a quite established sober, even though I do like the representation of someone just being sober and not struggling with it as much anymore. I mean, it's always on your mind, obviously, but I I like the way they're doing it with Tess, because I feel in media a lot of the time when they are displaying someone who is an alcoholic or some sort of substance, that they all have to have this either massive relapse or even leading up to admitting they have a problem, they have to reach this absolute stereotypical rock bottom. And you can reach rock bottom without like losing your job, losing your house, like going and pissing in someone's apartment complex. Like a lot of people are quote unquote functional alcoholics, functional drug addicts, and you just wouldn't know because they can keep it together when they're out in society or at their job. But see, they go that route a lot of the time too, and I thought maybe like the dropping turkey might somehow like relate it in, but if you are a seasoned alcoholic or seasoned society, like you think about those things. You think about, oh, somebody is going to smell my breath, or somebody is going to ask me to drive, or someone's going to pick up my water bottle. That, do you know what I mean? Like you think those things through because you are functioning.
Yeah.
Well, I had a whole relationship with someone and didn't know they were an alcoholic and never once smelt any alcohol on their breath at all. And I was so surprised. I was like, but they're never drunk and they never smelled of alcohol. They never stumbled. They weren't walking around. Like, they were just, normal.
Especially if you can, like, you can hold your like, oh my God, obviously I don't drink, but I can drink. I could drink a bottle of vodka and sit here like this and you'd never know. So it's, you learn to be able to cover it up. Even if you're in a socially acceptable sort of drinking environment, that, you've thought through how to get access to those things too, where it's like, oh, I know if I'm going to be somewhere where I can't get drink, like it's in, water bottle or something like that. So you're constantly in your head about it.
And it felt like it seemed like the only reason Tess was drinking was because of her mom. Like, you'd think the whole shame thing would factor into it, but I mean, the way that the scene was cut and stuff, it was like, oh, my mom's gone, there's her urn, I really need a drink kind of thing.
Yeah, but then by the end, she was texting and said, I miss you to Shane. So I think maybe it's a mixture.
That's true, maybe. So. I don't know. But I like how Finley was like, immediately like, okay, we're on a mission. Like, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of tasks to distract you from, like, today. Well, not from the drinking, but to distract you from, like, oh, Thanksgiving and your mom and yada yada. But the whole time I'm like, what bar celebrates Thanksgiving? Like, this is so weird. And since when does Dana's, have they always served food? I'm like,
we had this discussion on the live last night. I think that they've just modeled it exactly after the semi-tropic, because they open at like 2, so it's like those weird, and they have that like weird like bowls of like spicy popcorn, and so it's like snacky food. So I think that that's the sort of thing that they serve there, and then they've just decided to do this random Thanksgiving thing,
of which they I was about to say of which they are the only ones there, but I'm like, no, we kept getting shots of random lesbians there.
It's like they had an entire turkey. But surprise Finley, no, Sarah's mom shows up.
Oh yeah. Well, she'd freaking answered her phone. She would have known she was coming.
Yeah. I did think it was a little weird, like, by the end of the episode, I'm like, her mom's here, yet a lot of this episode, Finley's been kind of, like, by herself. Like, there are several scenes where I'm like, you're spending a lot of time alone, especially for someone who's supposed to be running a dinner.
So where did that turkey come out of? Do they have a huge oven?
You're the only employee.
Yeah. I know, when she was like telling Tess, oh, don't worry, I got it. I was like, really? You've got it by yourself? I mean, there were some like employees behind the bar that you could see walking around. So there must be some wait staff or something.
Yeah.
And then Tess is all like, look at you being a boss. And I'm like, yeah, she's putting flowers on each table. That was
you and Shane can't manage to be there, so someone.
And then I love like Tess is like on every table. I'm like, have you not done this before? Aren't you the manager?
Yeah, she was the one who was like literally running the bar before Shane ever even showed up.
Yeah. She's following her around like, oh, that's how you do it.
No, yeah. I just was putting it on one table.
No wonder it was failing. Had to get a second bar.
Yes.
Which we've heard nothing about since they opened.
Well, she throws that wine bottle in it next week.
So there goes the end of that one.
Yeah, so to set the scene, Finley's hosting a Thanksgiving dinner at Dana. So essentially she's planning on working for Thanksgiving. Then her mom shows up. So she basically calls for backup. And I love that she calls Sophie, and Sophie immediately like rallies the troops and is like, okay, entire family.
I did think that was nice.
Going over. Yeah.
I thought that was weird. Your whole family's in the middle of making this massive thing, and Sophie's just like, everybody stop everything, we're leaving. I'm like, that's so rude. Like,
oh no, I thought it was nice.
I understand Sophie going, like, I can't stay, I have to go to help Finley, but I'll be back for dinner.
But it was like she wanted to bring the other people to like support. Like that's how I have certain friends that if they said, right, I like need that, I'd be like, okay, everyone, like basically my brother, we're going.
Ozbot, my family would all show up for you.
Yeah, maybe. I feel like you guys
they come to Australia.
Okay, they might want to jump on a plane and go to a different continent. But, you know,
it was
if you were like...
weird that the whole family went when they were in the middle of making this massive meal. Like, there's no way my family would be like, I've spent hours cooking this, now I'm going to leave it here. No way. They would be like, you go.
Leftovers are the best, though.
Better
than the actual meal.
And then Mike is like, oh, how many gummies should I take? Because I need them for Thanksgiving. And Sophie's like, she's like, 1. And he's like, oh, blah, 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 let me have 3. I'm like, what? What is he doing? And what was the point of him having those? He wasn't even funny. They didn't use him for anything.
Infuriated me.
I was like, he may as well not have done them. There was no point, unless they were sponsored by some gummy company, but then they should have used the name of it, but whatever.
It infuriated me. Because I feel like it was tick. Like, oh, let's, the stereotypical, have someone super drunk or who's super high. And then it did nothing. Like, it went nowhere. And was it not last week, the week before, when Sophie fell in the pool, it is very hard to come across as intoxicated or high or something. And I feel like it just, no. This was just pointless. And it really infuriated me because I'm like, why are we doing these silly little things when just, if you're going to do it, actually do it. Like, make it.
When Shane and Alice had the brownies, the pop brownies, that was funny. Hilarious. This, like, not funny.
And pointless.
Like him talking about the pastry puffed over and over again. I'm like, okay.
Even last night, we were talking about the episode, and Jess was saying that she didn't actually, like, she must have fast forwarded or looked away from the screen when he took the gummies, and she didn't even know he was high at the thing. So it's like, if you can't even tell someone's high at it's like, what's the point?
They kept being like, people kept asking Maribel, oh my god, is he high? Oh my god, is he high? What was the
he did was eat food. That was it.
Yeah. And the mashed potato thing was dumb too.
The other
with the wedding ring. And I'm like, you could have literally just found it on the table at the end and then I don't know.
Infuriating.
What else we got?
Well, the other Thanksgiving group, we have Dre and Danny, and Dre's supposed to be going home. And I guess I missed the flight being canceled. Because I thought
that's the pivotal part.
Well,
another bit I didn't like.
Because she was like, oh, my lift is here. And then Danny's like, no, let's keep making out. Like, let's make your driver wait. Which I'm like, they would leave. Hi. And it's LA.
Yeah.
Like,
and she's in like an apartment on the top floor.
Right. Like, you got to get your ass down there now if you want your ride share. So, so when she wasn't going to when she wasn't going to the airport, I'm like, oh, she missed her lift. Like, she didn't get a ride. That's why she missed her flight. So I'm like, oh, okay, there's weather, I guess. But so that was all kind of
It was a little bit wishful thinking on my part that as soon as she said, oh no, how am I going to get home for Thanksgiving? My brain immediately went, oh my God, planes, trains, and automobiles, L-word style. Let's go. That would have been an awesome episode, her trying to get to the other side with Dani through, like, but no, we didn't get that.
Yeah, so I thought their thing was kind of boring. They just decided to hang out together for Thanksgiving.
This is, again, it feels like the whole Alice and Taylor staying in for Halloween and just them shooting by themselves. But it's kind of segregate them.
And I guess we were supposed to have some emotional connection or something because Dani tells that her mom's dead and her dad's in jail, but I just didn't feel any emotion. Like,
I don't like them at all together, and I actually was extremely angry and irritated and annoyed because they are now trying to like rewrite history that Dre was talking about someone or
the girl, the chick,
the girl, and then I'm like, Gigi is shouting because she is so infuriated too. Normally she only talks about Bette and Tina, but she's been sent over the edge as well. And then Dani starts talking about bloody Roxy.
I know!
Because we can't say Gigi's name.
No, the name that shall not be mentioned anymore. Apparently her name is Filth on the show.
Yeah, Bette, Tina, Gigi no longer exists. Cannot be referenced.
More important than Gigi.
Well, or Sophie. like, I kind of missed something, but she said something.
Oh, yeah, like, even Sophie would make sense.
Even Sophie.
Oh. And she was like, no. And I'm like, wait, what?
I know. I thought for sure she was going to be like, oh, and it was Gigi. The one that literally just broke my heart right now.
Yeah.
It's like they kind of washed her away out of history. Like it never happened. But at least we got closure. And
shove Dre into this, like...
Oh, yeah, no, I don't like that.
And I just think they have no chemistry.
Dre comes across to me as one of those people that mentions that they have like this on again, off again, on again, off again girlfriend somewhere, a random person, this chick. And then really on the other side of the world, there really is like an actual person who thinks that they're their girlfriend. Like, like someone who flies off and just has fun, but then just mentions this, oh, yeah, I have this like person.
I thought you were going to say
I'm technically cheating on.
I thought you were going to say that the opposite, that it was like, oh, you don't know her. She goes to another school.
She's Canadian.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
What is that from?
Like
just life.
The fake hot girlfriend from another school is like, she's always
like that she's made up.
Yes.
Got it.
That's
every
like American thing.
Every like nerdy 80s like movie where a boy is like,
oh yeah,
you don't know her.
She's a supermodel.
She was going to come to prom with me, but
she got called away on a modeling job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I think the secret girlfriend is more than a girlfriend. I think the girl is probably like, oh no, we're fully committed. Like
that's what I just said. Yeah. Also, was it new information that we finally find out that Danny's dad's in jail? Or did we already know that?
We didn't know what happened to him.
Okay, yeah. So that was a semi-closure wrap up there. Just as like, didn't we?
I mean, I assumed he was in jail this whole time.
Yeah,
he could have fled and escaped. He could be in like Paraguay or somewhere. We don't know.
No, I thought we knew that.
The last thing that happened with that was Gigi and Dani leaving the core, and then they were saying you can be held in contempt, and then at the dinner Dani got arrested, but we never heard what happened.
But like, doesn't she have any other family? So she just has her dad, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because her parents are both only children or something, and yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that does make sense then if they're only children.
Should we do Shane and Angie? I didn't think that was the noise that you were going to make for that.
Yeah, no, I didn't think so.
Noise. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was like, whoa.
No, I was like, she was like, oh. I'm like, didn't you just literally ask for that last week?
No, I like Shane and Angie.
Yeah, I like how she was pointing out. She's like, oh my god, there's someone I dated briefly. And Shane's like, which one?
And weird that they knew all about Jordy, but like no one knows about this guy.
Yeah.
Well, it was like a hush-hush college thing.
Yeah. Well, and it was very convenient for us to not have to talk about Bette and Tina again or see them on Thanksgiving by just being like, we're volunteering for the holiday.
Yeah.
You know what? Tiny mini rant. Tiny mini
yes,
rant.
go on.
Why are we not fucking mentioning these fucking people? Like, why are Bette, Tina, and Gigi, like, they're literally doing this for, like, they're not even putting them in the ads. They're not addressing that Gigi left. Like, why? It's purely insane, because I guarantee you, out of those 3 people, 9 out of 10 people are watching the show for one of those 3 people, and they're just like, this is purposeful to the point, because they're so avoiding it, to not even say, oh, there's a fucking storm, or my parents went to the Caribbean for Thanksgiving, or they're on location shoot, something, like some reason that an 18, 19-year-old, the first time they've ever lived away from their parents, the first time they're at college, freshman year, the first holiday, that they're not there, because everybody I know used to go home at Thanksgiving. My brother, who's 21, still comes back to me every holiday. Like, that's what you do. And like, why? And her parents, she's never lived away from them. They've always lived in LA. They're in another country. Like, what the fuck is going on? Why are you not? It's like they are purposefully doing it. For I don't know what reason, but
Yeah, you'd think either Angie would fly up there or they would have flown down.
Yeah.
Or at least have them on a phone call, being like, hey, sorry we can't be there.
Well, there was a phone call that was recorded with Jennifer Beals, and it was supposed to be put in between episodes 4 and now, and they've just not added it in. So it makes no sense whatsoever to not even, I mean, literally, you wouldn't even need to, even if you didn't want to have her in it or whatever, just have her speaking into the, like, anything. Jesus Christ. And to not also, I'm still pissed off that they have not actually said the words out loud. This relationship with this man, like, is problematic. Like, why are we not saying it? Like, why are we dancing around? Like, he is her professor, or whatever you want to say. They're just ignoring it too.
Well, she didn't tell Shane that part.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
she didn't mention that he was the professor, right? Just that it was some dude.
Just like, oh, hey, remember that guy that I met at the art thing?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
In August/September, because
oh my
even
God,
they can't
that
fucking
was
keep track of shit.
That was my laugh out loud moment for this episode, where I was like, where she was like, even she doesn't know the timeline. She's like, August, September. I'm like, are you kidding me?
It was September 22nd.
Because it was Jess's birthday. As if you would say, it's fine if it's the beginning of September and you're kind of like, oh, it was the end of August, beginning of September. But it's like the end of September. And you'll be like, oh yeah, it was at Marcus's thing, which was in August, September. Like, that was really awkward. At least I laughed out loud for that.
Oh,
Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you know who would have been really great at an awkward family dinner? Alice.
Oh, yeah.
And we don't get her either. So I 100% thought that she was directing this episode since she wasn't in it. That's what I had assumed.
Kate directed 9 and Leisha directed 10. So I know some people were like, oh, Alice and Shane are missing, but I'm fine with it because there is like a rationale behind it. And, you know.
I totally thought they directed the episodes that they were not in.
No, yeah, they were prepping and like location scouting and stuff because 9 and 10 are big episodes with big locations, especially 10. It's like they all went down and stayed in Malibu. So there's a purpose behind Leisha and Kate directing 9 and 10. And yeah, even Laura Holloman was like in an interview recently. Yeah, it was really nice to have Leisha and Kate directing 9 and 10. It's nice to have people who know the characters so well directing us.
Yeah.
I.e. the others don't know.
Shade.
Yeah. Sorry I don't read the credits, but I've been up for like 22 hours now, so.
However, I would have really liked to have watched Alice with her mom at Thanksgiving. Like, that would have been fun.
I know.
But at least everyone else shows up to support Finley. And then that's another, like, Tess where I thought, oh, she's being a great friend because she's flat out like, do you want me to kick your mom out? Basically, like,
oh, yeah.
I can make her leave. And I'm like, that's awesome. Yeah. But she doesn't. So Sophie's entire family comes over for the dinner, and of course, Maribel's a bitch again.
She's
again.
I can't stand her. She's like, we're gonna have Thanksgiving with our family. Like, why are you going? The way she just her tone and everything is just like, and she's not even helping prep anything. She's just sitting there.
I don't know why they make this character so unlikable.
Well, at the same time, trying to get us to like her by being like, oh, I'm proposing to Micah tonight. And it's like, what? Yeah,
and I'm sorry, but they don't even know how long it's been, but for someone to so adamantly be like, oh, I did, like, that's literally like me in 6 weeks being like, I'm gonna propose to someone. Like, she's a grown, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like she's 18.
Right. You know what people who say they're never getting married or never having kids, like, hate the most is someone immediately being like, oh, just kidding. I want to have all the kids.
Exactly.
Yeah, because it's like, you're just perpetuating that myth that, like, every woman wants to get married. Every woman wants to have babies. And if you say you don't, well, just wait until you change your mind. So
yeah. It's the same.
Yeah, so I don't like that they're just immediately were like, oh, just kidding. She really does want to get married.
So much that she's going to propose in like a few weeks, basically. Period of time has gone by.
Yeah.
They just don't seem suited at all. Like, that they seem like they have nothing in common.
Mm-hmm.
They sort of Tupperware drawer. Like, we don't even actually see them having any substantial conversations about anything except for looking for sperm donors for an entire episode.
We don't know anything about
There's
them.
no chemistry. There's no nothing. There's no reason why we as the audience should believe that they're a believable couple, let alone a believable couple who wants to have a baby and get married. Like, we have zero invested in their relationship.
Because we don't know their characters. Like, think about the original L Word and what we knew by season 3 about Shane and Alice and Bette and Dana and Tina. Like, those, even by the end of season 1, how much we knew about those characters, about their personalities, what they'd gone through, their storylines. And you could fill books of what you had been told, what you know about them, even in the first few episodes. Like, their jobs were so defined, who they were as people. You could even, if you gave like 10 scenarios, you'd be able to say, well, Alice would make this decision, Dana would make this decision, Shane would make this decision. What the fuck do we know about those two?
Nothing.
Micah, it was a professor the first season and then was a therapist. And Maribel is an immigration attorney. And I don't think a lot of people actually know those things. So, and Micah dated Dani, and Sophie and Maribel are sisters. Anything else? Nope. I don't know anything else anyway.
Parents, his mom shown up once.
Yeah. Which he seemed to be like an expert on taking gummies and things when the mom, and telling the mom don't take too many. And then this episode, that information had apparently left his brain.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he's got like some Thanksgiving trauma he needs to unremember.
I just think they're all so familiar with how horrible Finley's family is, which I wish we were more familiar with that than just like any examples of that, except for her just saying that like she doesn't have a good relationship with them, or they kicked her out or whatever.
Like, we literally could have spent season 2 on her backstory and her family rather than the alcoholism, which went nowhere.
Because they made it seem in season 1 like it was really tied to religion, but I got the impression this season it's more just being like a WASP.
Yeah.
Like rich conservative WASPs, which is like my brand. Not my brand, but it's like my
your clientele.
Like my surround. I very much felt like it was on the amount of those people that I went to school with and I've been surrounded with all my life. Jesus, I've said this before, but I literally went to school with Kaylee McEnany. That is like the queen version of that.
Yeah, and I don't think she mentioned her sister at all. Like,
she said the wedding. She got drunk at the wedding. That was it.
Wait, wasn't she like not invited to that, or she didn't know about it or something?
She didn't. When she phoned in season 1, they were having it was the engagement party. And then when she showed up at Dani and Sophie's wedding, I guess she had been in Kansas City, I think. So the implication, in my mind, was that she was there for the wedding and that was her coming back because she went home for like a bit. Which I think they also forgot that because it made it seem like she hadn't seen the mom in ages, because they obviously hadn't like spoken about anything apart from at the wedding or the sister's wedding.
Yeah, but I do like how Sophie stepped up again, like was finally acting like a best friend to Finley when her mom was like saying horrible things to her, and Finley made sure to go check on her and to let her know that that's like a reflection of her mother, not of Finley, and to tell her that people love her and everything. And I'm like, that's Like, that's the Sophie that I liked from season 1. Like, that's the whole best friend vibe.
Yeah, except for the part where she kisses her and then she's like, oh, whoops, sorry, I just want to be friends. I thought that was really selfish.
Finley kissed Sophie.
She didn't, like, not kiss her back. It's not like she was like, oh, get off me.
I was okay with it. I was glad that she was at least, like, honest and upfront about it and didn't, like, let it linger or anything.
Mm.
And I like that Finley was honest of being like, yeah, well, you know, I'm still in love with you, so it's great that you want to be friends, but, like, I'm at this different emotional state. And I also like that Carrie and Finley kind of talked about that later. And what did she say? Like, that's just being gay or something like that?
Oh, no, she was that's really gay, yeah.
Like, sorry, I'm in love with my best friend and I'm always going to be. Like, that's really gay. I felt like there was almost no reason for Misty to be in this episode either. I mean...
She was just tagging along kind of as like a +1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like a I can't say it. Or just like to God damn it! Reiterate. She was just there to reiterate that she like, oh, they're together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was funny that she was all embarrassed. And Carrie was like, oh, I'm so sorry about my boss. Meanwhile, she's like, I gotta poop. That sounds like, that's 10 out of 10 content right there.
Oh, man.
But also, like, the Carrie's boss being like, oh, this is Tina. I'm like, oh, yeah. Like, yeah, it's Butch Tina.
They all look alike.
If you squint, it's Tina.
A blonde white woman.
Yeah.
But, and then my brain is like, how long has it been? Because why do the coworkers think they're still together?
Well, it's been a second. That's what I said. It's been like 1 second.
Well, it really hasn't been. I mean, I guess, this is stupid. It's been over a year because Tina and Carrie, the time jump. So it's been like a year and a half. Fucking hell. Please, Jesus Christ, writer's room, like, fucking get your shit together, please. So we're not.
Well, did they break up at the beginning of that year or the end of that year?
When the season 2 finale took place in May.
Oh yeah, but maybe they like got back together.
Or like, was it 3 months ago when Tina showed up again?
No, it's because they broke up like definitely at the Alice's going away for the book party thing, which was May 2021. And now it's Thanksgiving 2022, and they're still fucking asking about Tina. So there's been a Thanksgiving thing already. There's been Christmas. There's been an entire year, and now we're at second Thanksgiving.
I think it was just them, the writers, trying to be like, haha, don't you think Misty looks like Tina?
This is the problem.
But they're not actually looking at the timeline.
With not looking at the timeline, and also there's lots of little things in this episode we've mentioned, like season 1, Finley stuff, all that is when you're having new writers every season, which isn't a problem if they go back and really look at the material, but they obviously haven't done that with the OG either, because I mean, I've made a fucking full-time job out of pointing out that they haven't done that, and there's all these inconsistencies and timeline and shit like that. So it's not like it's not Grey's Anatomy. There's not 400 episodes. Like,
unless you get to the end,
original.
when they tried to pull off a Grey's Anatomy ending,
and then spoil it in 4 seconds in the preview. Like, why even bother if you're going to do that?
Oh, I didn't see the preview because I was wondering. No, my feed like it cut. I don't know. Something happened for like the last minute and a half, so I didn't see the last minute and a half of the episode. I just kind of I'm like, it's sort of over.
You missed the end.
Know.
No, so I saw the Carrie, but I didn't see. I don't know what happened.
Oh, okay. See, I was like, actually, like, holy shit. And the one thing I didn't like that they did with that scene on a show that is predominantly women is that, as someone who's a medical group, that women, every TV show basically shows medicine and symptoms, diseases from a man's from a man's standpoint. And pretty much everything is presented differently systematically in women. So why on a show that is for mainly has an audience of women, and you're showing the male symptoms of having the thing with the arm, that is not really how a heart attack presents in women. And I mean, women are constantly misdiagnosed with every single disease, ailment there can possibly be, because we're conditioned to look for male presenting symptoms. And it's because it's a man's world. It's all about men in the media and things. And we should be trying to show women that these things are different. Like, it's more likely women will get nauseous, headaches, those sort of things. They won't have the pain in the left arm most of the time. And I know that Rosie has had a heart attack. So when you let me come be the timeline keeper and the OG keeper, I'll advise you medically as well.
Medical consultant.
Yeah, I'll be the medical consultant too. Thanks. See all these things?
You can be the Botox giver.
Oh yeah, I'll give everyone Botox too.
You're qualified, right?
Yeah. Fill all those. Everyone does have good Botox on this show, though. Whoever does everybody is good.
So, since I didn't get to see the previews for the next episode, Carrie doesn't die, does she? Because
literally, they show Carrie like it happened. Finley doing CPR, which at least they showed that, and then it literally is like, Shane, Alice, Carrie, fine, talking to Finley. Finley saying, "Oh, I almost lost you."
Yeah,
like it's 3 seconds after that happens.
Well,
yeah.
All right.
Why would you put that in the fucking preview? Like,
yeah, because I'm sitting here watching it being like, I love Carrie. I love that Carrie tells her mom off and is basically like, "Hi, I'm the replacement mom, and I'm actually, a good, mentor, family, mother figure, whatever, friend to Finley, and you're not, and be gone with you." So I loved that whole thing. And then, so I hate that 2 seconds later, it's like, "Oh, yay, you're my new mom." And then it's like, "And I'm dying."
Yeah.
So,
or I'm already dead.
people would have talked about that all this week. I have never seen marketing like this show before in my life. Like, it takes it to completely new levels. They do nothing for the show, and then when there's something that they don't even have to do something, they just need to do their job and make the show and just leave it alone. Don't put something in the preview, or I don't know, let people know that Bette and Tina are coming back. That's a wild thing too, and they just don't do it. That when people would do the marketing for you, like if you didn't put the Carrie thing in the trailer, people could go and talk. We'd be talking about it a lot more and worrying, and oh, is Carrie going to be okay? And Rosie could have put out some stuff because she likes to talk about the show, but she hasn't talked about it as much this season. And then if you'd filled that Carrie slot with, I don't know, 2 more seconds of the fact that Bette and Tina are coming back for the last 2 episodes after 20 fucking years.
Breathe in, breathe out.
I'm gonna have a heart attack. Not to watch this show anymore.
Yeah, it's not a cliffhanger if you tell us exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, for a whole 2 seconds, I was like, "Oh my god, no! Yeah. She was a really good character." Oh wait, she's okay. It was the same thing when Gigi had a car accident. Oh no! Oh wait, there she is. She's fine.
Yeah, but I'm also like, can we not have another character die on this show? Like, let's get through at least a season. Come on.
Oh.
So our second least favorite storyline.
I'm like, wait, was there more?
Angie and the professor.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
It's such a bummer because I love Shane and Angie scenes, but the fact that it's like the stupid guy professor relationship is at the center of it, like, made me not even want to watch them.
Yeah, I actually, that's the thing that normally I'll look at something I don't like a storyline or a character, and I'm like, oh, but somebody out there must enjoy this. There is no one out there who enjoys this.
Everyone's fast forwarding it.
I haven't seen. Please, if you enjoy this, leave a comment because I want to know if someone exists that is here for this, that likes this, that enjoys it. Because the
only way I would
people have never seen it.
The only way, and this is sad, but the only way I would have liked this storyline is if that professor guy was actually a chick, a hot chick. Then I'd be like, thumbs up.
Other Jess says, yeah,
yeah, it'd be like a whole loving Annabelle storyline all over again, and I'm for that.
I mean, I think definitely we would have been more invested in that, as a whole, whether that's right or wrong,
but that would have been at least interesting to discuss, people aren't even, that would have been a good fight.
Yeah, but considering it's mostly, a show for lesbians, we don't really care about any straight storylines.
Well, and I feel like there'd be a lot more discussed because the ethics are murkier when it's a same-sex relationship, so...
Yeah.
Like, there's not as much of a power dynamic when,
I know what you're saying.
Yeah. When you're at least the same sex or the same gender, like you're coming into the relationship as equals in a way. So instead of having, an equal male, female, and, age, like to just have one of those things, there's just, I don't know.
Like the societal power or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I just love to know if someone exists who enjoys this because I don't believe that person exists.
Yeah, and part of the time I'm like, is she jumping to conclusions? Like, maybe Shane's right and that's not a romantic, and then I'm like, do I care? I don't care.
Yeah, I know, right? He was like holding a hand and putting it, and I was like, oh, I don't really,
Yeah.
I mean, they broke up, so
the guy's
why
gross.
Not? Yeah, they broke up, so why not? Why can't he just be with someone else? What's wrong with that? Like...
I feel like he's gonna be just, that like stereotypical, there's always one on every campus, the professor that just uses a new student every semester because they like
if we had been shown that the other woman was another student, then I'd be like, okay.
Yeah, because when they were
bigger.
Yeah, when they were walking down the stairs, she said something like, I moved here for school or something. She was talking about moving to LA, and then he like cut her off because he saw the window was smashed. But I don't even really care.
Yeah, no, zero care factor there.
But I could see him being as like the kind of guy who would go to the administration and be like, oh, this student has an inappropriate infatuation with me. Like, since no one knew that they were actually like together, he could play it off like, oh, she's pursuing me and it's making me uncomfortable,
that's a good
and get
point.
her in trouble instead of him getting in trouble for anything.
Well, hold your breath, or don't hold your breath, because we still have 2 episodes left and she has a storyline to go. That could still happen.
Don't worry. Mama T's going to take her out next week.
Did you think that she was going to tell Shane, though, that, like, she had sex with him? Or, I mean, I thought she told Shane everything. So it surprised me a little bit that she was, like, really keeping it close to the vest again.
Yeah, I thought she would tell Shane, too.
Because if not Shane, then who?
Yeah.
Like, the roommate, maybe? I was kind of disappointed in that confrontation with the mum at the end. Like, I liked that Carrie stepped in, like, but Carrie wasn't there the whole time. Carrie just came in at the very last minute and went, whoa, what are you doing? Stop. But, like, even the stuff being said to the mum was, like, very mellow. And, like, for someone who supposedly fucked up Finley's life, Finley, like, felt like a little child who was, like, couldn't speak because... of all this trauma that's happened. And everyone at the whole table was just silent. They didn't say anything. No one stood up for Finley at all the entire time until Carrie came along. Sophie was trying to, but, like, even she didn't, like, they kind of just, there was a lot of storming off and, like, not addressing, like, I would have liked a better confrontation where things would have been hashed out instead of the mum running off.
That's the WASP way, though. Got to push those feelings down. Put them in a box.
Yeah,
but like I feel like nothing got resolved.
No, it didn't, and they definitely could have had, like, there was an inkling of it, but they could have had more depth of her actually, like, admiring Finley for leaving home, because she's like, you're the only one who left, and it's like, yeah, that's a brave thing. You're going about it all wrong, but it was obvious that the mom's out there because she's seeking something, because she's like, I'm, leaving her father. Which this stuff like this happens all the time too, to be with someone for, 20, 30 years or something, and then be like, I don't know what happened with my life. I'm going to go get a life now.
Yeah, but for someone who is so like, I've come here for your help, she was very like...
combative.
Yeah, she was just like very like, well, you've been, you've ruined everything all the time, and like, I've always been embarrassed of you, and like, when have you not, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like...
Yeah, that was horrible.
Okay, calm down. And like, when she's trying to apologize to her, and she's just like, well, what are you sorry for every moment of your life? Because you're always doing stuff. And it's like, that's when she should have spoken up and said something. Like, she should have had a moment, like, Finley should have had a moment where she was like, rah, 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 had it out, and then the mum left.
Well, and that's sometimes what families tend to do. It's like they put you in a box. It's like, this is how I see you, and you're this person forever.
Yeah, but I feel like it's going to go nowhere. Like, the mum's now gone. I'm assuming she's not going to be back the rest of the season. So that storyline is now, again, left sort of up in the air. Like, they didn't... Like, I feel like they brought the mum in for no reason, because there was nothing... Like, they brought her in and showed us all the things we already knew about the mum, which she was a bigot and all this. Gee!
Jay, I'm trying to record in here.
But yeah, we already knew all this stuff about the mum, and then she left, and it's like, oh, well, what was the point of that? It felt like they just did it so they could give Finley a big group hug for the promo picture.
Yeah,
and be like, look, we're a big family, we're gonna hug Finley.
Or say to us, stop asking for Finley backstory, we gave it to you.
Yeah, like, here you go, here's your backstory.
Because there has been a few little things that, I don't know, maybe this is like me
projecting.
Trying to, yeah, it probably is. But the last couple of episodes with the Finley backstory and the Dani dad line, and just, there was some other things this season that they've had these little one line things, because I've been a lot like, just give us one line. But it's probably just
and they're like, there you go, now you can't complain.
That'll shut her up. Surprise, I found something else. Just personal question. How did you feel about the Kansas City slander in this episode?
No.
Yeah. Apparently, we know that no one ever leaves there, ever.
Yeah.
And only person ever in the history of Kansas City to make it out of there was Finley.
Finley. You need to build a bronze statue to Finley.
I was like, yeah, ouch, that hurt a little bit. I'm like,
no one makes it out of there.
Jeez.
Just a prison cell, really.
It's not Iowa.
Oh no, slamming Iowa there.
Iowa's slander.
Hey, at least they have the world's largest truck stop. That shut everyone up. We visited the place. We literally were at the world's largest truck stop.
Yes.
That's the only thing that's going for Iowa.
Yeah, I'm honestly like, can we just get a second L Word spinoff that's like
a second L Word spinoff?
Yeah, that like Finley goes home to Kansas City, and it's just like a show around Jacqueline Tabani, and like maybe Carrie goes there too, and it's like just Midwestern lesbians, like, where you actually get like family issues, and like, hey, we live in a red state, this sucks.
Wait, wasn't this already a show called The Fosters or something? With older lesbians dealing with family drama.
Yeah,
that's what it sounds like.
Seen it. Yeah.
Or we just have a lot of jock-beans in the Kansas City version.
But no, just because we were just talking about Finley's backstory and how it's like, oh, enjoy your crumbs. And I'm like, you could have actually made some good storylines with.
Or even, God forbid,
like her.
Gone to film in Kansas City. Or somewhere that in LA that looks like Kansas City and pretended it was Kansas City.
Let's find a spot with no palm trees on the street.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
Kansas City.
Yep.
We were saying this last night too, that for I mean, obviously the original shot in Vancouver, and then they used to just go and do the week or whatever where they'd film Kay on Santa Monica Boulevard or at Yamashiro or something, if anybody didn't know. But for now, the fact that they shoot in LA, and it's so much more expensive for them to shoot in LA, and they have now I mean, their own set in Culver City, which is insanely expensive. They've built out all and I mean, obviously, I don't see the budgets and all these things, but from what I've heard, last season they even tried to really seriously get them to move to Vancouver, but Marja said no and didn't want to. I just don't think it's necessary for them to shoot in LA because it's not like they show LA off. Like, apart from those aerial shots that they could go on location for a week and do those and just put them throughout the season. Like, they don't go, I don't know, to like the or like Earth Cafe anywhere.
Like, I remember when they did a whole episode on Olivia Cruises. They actually went on two Olivia Cruises.
It's basically
like
it's basically all like a studio, like on a soundstage or whatever, and it's pointless. Like, they're all just like interior sets. You don't see LA at all. And I remember when they first were like announcing the show, and it was such a big deal, like, oh, East LA, and we're gonna do this and show these kind of people. And I thought that you'd actually see East LA. Like, no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because they shot the first season on Paramount, because I'm guessing because they only had 8 episodes, they didn't know what they were doing. And then the place that they're at now in Culver City, it's literally smack bang in the middle of like a residential. So right inside the middle of the set is a very typical like soundstage with the extremely high ceiling buildings, and then they have the whole Alice sets, and then they call it the Kate says it sometimes on the podcast, the bungalows is like Bette's house, well, the interior Bette's house, interior Shane's house, everybody's house. And then around the outside of the set, like, obviously there's all the trailers and stuff, and then on the very perimeter is like the outside of Dana's that literally is 20 feet away from someone's house. And then throughout, there's all the cast trailers, all the hair, makeup, blah, blah, blah. But they do, I mean, they shoot on location like once a week or something, but it's always inside, or like just a random street, or
like the
Shane's
stairwell
house,
where Angie's coming down to smash the car window. That was in some parking garage.
Or like outside Carrie's, but like outside Carrie's house. So you could have just picked a house in Vancouver. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so unnecessary, I feel like. And
all the LA stuff seems to be just the drone shots of traffic and stuff.
Yeah, which you could just go get that. Like, that, the characters aren't in those. So
yeah, the only discernible difference when shooting between LA and like Vancouver is that it's either sunny or
raining,
overcast. Yeah,
a lot of rain.
Yeah, like where people are obviously more bundled up, and it's like, it's summer in LA. It's like,
but even in the OG show, they had built Bette and Tina's backyard with a pool like inside, like it was inside the set, so you didn't really even need to have sunny days. You just had lighting turned it on.
And they used to shoot in the summer too, so I don't know. I do have a strong, she's doing her exercises. I do have a strong feeling that they will try again to push them to Vancouver if they get a season 4.
I kind of want them to go back there just for OG memories.
Yeah, maybe we'd get like a bit more behind the scenes stuff and things if they were, all up there together.
Oh, you'd think that, but no.
Maybe it would help some. I don't know, probably help or make worse some relationships, I guess. And I'll leave it at that. Anyway.
That was the episode.
I mean...
That was another boring-ish episode.
Yeah, I feel like there would have been a bit more of like, oh, what's going to happen to Carrie if they didn't put it in the preview and they didn't put it in the episode summary, because the episode summary for next week is... very strange. That also doesn't include Bette and Tina. Yeah, next week is the penultimate episode. We've only got 2 episodes left, and I just feel like there's only 2 ways these can go: ecstatic, perfect, so happy, or they are going to be an absolute fucking disaster. Those are the only I just can't imagine they'll be okay. Like, it's going to be one or the other. And I mean, you know, I'm an eternal optimist, but
you know the track record of the show. Yeah.
I can't take any more abuse. So we live in hope that this time next week
you're either going to be really ecstatic or you're going to be ranting.
I'm not sitting here crying. Why did I do? Why did I get up? And
you know what's going to happen next week? Is just me and Jess going. So Ash couldn't make it.
Screaming.
Ash couldn't get out of bed, so she's staying in bed.
she can't face it.
It's just a cardboard cutout of you.
Sitting in bed, rain, looking out the window at the rain with the blanket over my head.
Yeah. Hello, darkness, my old friend. I hope for your sake that's not what happens.
Sending G in my place.
just G sitting there like meow. What did you think of the episode? Meow. What did you think of the episode? Some hissing. Oh well, we'll find out next week.
We shall.
So next week is the one that Kate directed. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. The only other thing, I don't know whether I did send this to you actually, so maybe you listened to it. But the only thing that's kind of what's going on there? She's literally throwing herself against the wall. It's not going to be that bad, G, next week.
She's getting ready.
The episode of Pants that went out this week, they did worry me.
Did you listen to that, Jess?
A little bit.
Ash sent us.
You need
recording.
to go. I put just
scroll
the clip
back
of it
and
in.
Just it's like it's 7 minutes long or something. But have a listen.
To very quickly summarize, it basically is. Kate and Leisha recorded this on the 28th, which was right around when they will have seen the final cuts, the first final cuts of everything. So they basically went on the podcast, and Kate was like to Leisha, "Oh, it's great to have Erin back in the show. Please, can you tell me and she said this like verbatim, I'm not interpreting. She said, "Can you tell me what it's like to have that closure? Because I'll never get that closure." And then doubled down and said, Leisha goes, "Oh, well, you know, we could just go get a school bus and get Sarah and she listed like a Holland Taylor, like a bunch of people from the OG. And then they were all just saying, yeah, like we'd love that. The audience would love it. We speak for the audience." And then they added in, you can hear the difference in the audio. Leisha goes, "And if we're going to go get them, we should get Seppi and Stephanie and Vanessa." And then throughout the rest of the podcast, they make like these little comments like, "Yeah, but of course we wouldn't have subtitles because people need to know what's going on." And there's a bunch of fucking gold in it, but it was.
Kate and Leisha are famous for going along with it, but you can see on their faces they aren't happy with it. Yeah. And then they love leaving crumbs for people to figure it out. And they even said it in their podcast where they're like, "You guys know what what we're talking about. Like, we don't need to spell it out. You're smart."
Yeah.
Like, they were always good at that without getting themselves into trouble with the show.
Yeah. And they have faces very like myself where you cannot hide what the thought is going on behind them. I mean, obviously all three of us have tried with the Botox to cover it up, but that's the thing that worried me, that was the moment that they chose. I mean, they were kind of justifying their excitement around the musical too. They were saying, without saying it, like, we know that it wasn't amazing, but we had fun filming it, so our kind of enjoyment in filming it was like where we were coming from, which is totally understandable. And also they only know so much. They don't know what's going to be cut and twisted and moved around and all of that stuff. So I just think it was interesting timing that they put that in there to be like, it wasn't us. we did what we could. We did what we could.
Yeah.
So yeah.
We appreciate you, Kate and Leisha.
I love you.
We love you.
Even if Elwood fans annoy you, we love you.
Yeah.
So
Because we know that they would have tried. I reckon in the writers' room, whatever, they would have put their hand up and be like, "What about Sarah?" And someone they would have shut them down.
Well, Kate even said, I think it was the week after Max came on, she said on the podcast, I said to the writers, why are we not talking about Jenny? I think we should talk about Jenny. That's the thing, the common link between these two characters. And Kate said, but obviously I didn't win. The writers decided not to do that. So, and they're not doing that because they are avoiding the mention of Jenny, so that because of, you know, everything that happened when they last mentioned Jenny on the show. But
the Mia fiasco.
Yeah, we shall see. We shall see. I do think the best chance of getting decent episodes is Kate and Alicia, but obviously they're the directors. They can only they can't change the words on the page.
Yeah. They're gonna be like, we did the best we could with what we were given.
Yeah. So, well, we shall see you back here next week for the penultimate episode, which is Quiet Before the Storm, which may be a life imitating art imitating life in the reality, and everything else will be normal. And then the following week is the finale. We do have some special episodes coming out with, as I mentioned, M. Weinstein, who directed this episode 7, 5, and 4 as well. So look out for that. Follow Chris, Jess, and I and Drinks at Dana's on social media. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can find out every week when we post a new episode. And if you'd like to leave us a review, please do. We'll see you back here next week. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.